Rico. Rico. Julio.
Rico Suave?
There are a few other names.
Okay. My name was Marcos when I was in high school. And I learned Me llamo Marcos. What does that mean?
Your name's Marco.
My name is
They
Mark.
call me.
Yo soy de los Estados Unidos.
From the United States.
Nice. If I ever got lost in Mexico, I could at least say that.
I think they can figure that out.
Yeah, I think they know that, right? All right, here we go. Everybody got a little square root over the 8, right?
Yeah.
That was a typo. Before, it didn't have a radical 8 there.
That'd be no sense.
And Quinn, let me shut that computer.
Oh, not get no sense.
You wouldn't be able to do anything with it. I asked Miss Thielen, she typed these notes up. I said, the first problem, you can't even do anything to it.
Miss Thielen?
Radical 3n over regular 8, nothing you can do with that problem. But put a radical 8 there at the bottom. She goes, oh, it was a typo. I almost recopied him with the right thing in there. But everybody just put a radical over your 8. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. What's wrong with that problem now? Why can that not just be our answer? What's bad about
It's
it?
a radical.
Yeah, you cannot you have to, what's it called? What do you have to do to your denominator?
Simplify.
Better word than that.
Vanish.
Everybody say rationalize. You're going to rationalize your denominator.
Kill it.
What could you multiply top and bottom by to rationalize your denominator? There's a couple answers to that question. Sean, what would you do?
8.
Well, say radical. Over? Exactly. So everybody multiply top and bottom by radical 8 over radical 8. When in doubt, whatever's at the bottom, radical, just multiply by that, because that will eliminate the radical. I'll do the hard part, Sean. The bottom's 8. We're going to get there in a minute. Good catch, Sean. But anyways, does everybody agree radical 8 times radical 8 is 8?
Yeah.
There's somebody, I thought it was radical 64. Well, what's the square root of 64, people? 8. You don't have to write down square root. What's the top, Sean? Nice. Radical 24n. Does everybody agree with that? Are we done? Why not? We can simplify the top. Everybody simplify radical 24n. Find a perfect square in there, a number from our list, and let's start simplifying it. Nico, what do you recognize?
2 radical 6.
Tell me how you got there.
4 times 6.
Yeah, and then don't lose your n either, okay? Over 8. Show this step. That's why I was yelling at Briggs and everybody else didn't show their work. Radical 4 times 6 times. Which one of those is a perfect square, Nico?
4.
Okay, keep going. You're doing great.
It equals radical 6n over 4.
Okay, but before you simplified it, that's great that you simplified it. Do you agree it's 2 radical 6n over 8?
Yeah.
Okay, and then look what he did. The 2 and the 8 are not radicals. They're numbers. So we can reduce them by the number 2. And then final answer, Nico.
You go do that
Radical
outside.
6n over 4.
Right. Say again, Alex, your question.
You can only do that if they're outside of the right.
Or if they're both inside, you can do it too. They both have to be the same.
It can't be inside. On the bottom, right?
Right. Now, Sean, what's the much faster way to do that problem?
If you like doing it that way, can you still do it?
You can do it. No, you can do it the way we just did it. But watch what Sean recognized, and some of you guys recognized. What's the smallest perfect square you could make 8 become? You can't make 8 get smaller. It's always going to be bigger. 16. So watch this. Because you would divide it by 2, and then you'd have to divide 3 by 2, and all of a sudden you got fractions, and you don't want that to
What
happen.
if it was like 4?
Then you could divide it by 2, but I wouldn't go that route. I'd always go bigger. Okay? Let's go. Let's top the bottom now. Radical 6n over radical 16.
How do you know that 2 is a good number to use?
Great question. What's the smallest number 8 can become so that it's a perfect square? 16.
4.
But you can't ever make it smaller.
Oh, so you should say what's the bigger?
Well,
No,
because you could make it 6. Yes.
8.
What's the smallest perfect square?
Oh, for
8
number
could
2,
become.
you should multiply by 3, so that 12 becomes 13.
Got it. So watch what happens here, guys. Radical 6n over, what's the square root of 16? Wait, if you guys do it this way, it's way less work.
You can just check your answer by that.
Okay? It's way less work. You don't have to simplify as much at the end. All right, next one.
Can you divide it by 6?
You can divide them both by 6 right off the bat because they're both radicals. Okay, what does that produce? Cubon, what does that make if you divide them both by 6?
Y over
Say it smart.
radical y over radical 2.
Nice. Believe it or not, guys, because they're both radicals, you can simplify them that way. And then what are you going to multiply top and bottom by, Alec, to get rid of your radicals? To rationalize your denominator.
Sorry?
What are you going to multiply top and bottom by to rationalize your denominator?
Radical 2.
Over, say it, the whole thing. Radical 2 over radical 2.
Radical 2.
There you go. That will rationalize our denominator. What is each top and bottom now? Showing work, people.
Me? Oh, I'm taking my way. Look, I'll get there. Radical 2y over 2.
Radical 2y over 2. Or you could have written radical 2y over radical 4, but radical 4 is just 2. Now, Alec, can you cancel those 2's?
No.
Why not?
Because one's a radical, one's a regular.
Exactly. One's regular, one's a radical. Done. That was the shortest way to do it. You totally could have multiplied by radical 3. Guys, if you're going to use a radical, say, so it would have been radical 18y over radical 36. But now, look what that is. 16 is a perfect square. It comes out. Wait, did I multiply wrong? It's 18. 18. I multiplied wrong. So, 18 is 9 times 2 times y over 6. What's the square root of 9? 3 radical 2y over 6. Reduce it. You get radical 2y over 2.
Or you just take 36 times 2. You multiply.
So, guys, there's several ways to get to the final answer, okay? There's not just one right way to do it.
How do you know when to put a radical symbol like in the second, like your first step?
Always, because you're multiplying, you can only multiply radicals times radicals. You cannot do this. Here's what he's asking, people. What's this? What's radical 3 times radical 12?
Radical 36.
Radical 36, right? What's 3 times radical 12? 3 radical 12. You can't put those together because this one doesn't have a radical sign with it. So I think that's what you were asking.
Yeah.
Kind of. Good questions. All right, try that next one. Next one's a layup.
Yeah, it is.
Easy. Chupinski, what do you want to do? Really? You're going to take the really, really, really long route? Is a squared a perfect square? Take its square root. 25 times 2 over a. Radical a squared, guys, is a. Take the square root of it. I did a couple things here. I took my 50 and made it 25 times 2. 5 radical 2 over a. Cannot be simplified anymore. You don't have any radicals in the bottom. If you were to multiply top and bottom by radical a squared over radical a squared, you can get there eventually. But you're going to need a lot more paper than this. Okay? Be smart. All right. What happens if you get two fractions that are both radicals? Multiply them together and make it one big fraction with the radical symbol. And actually, I like to break it up into two radicals. You just see it better. Madeline, it's radical what over radical what?
6.
Yeah. Radical 6 over radical 20.
3. Can we reduce it?
Ah, I didn't think about that last time. Yes. You could make that radical 3 over radical 10. Smart.
Genius.
Genius. But you know the way we did it? And here's my question to Nico or some of the other guys. What's the smallest number radical 20 could become that makes it a perfect square? Huh? 100. Okay, I was going to multiply by last period. I was going to do radical 20 times radical 20, radical 20 over radical 20, but they said just multiply by radical 5 over radical 5, because that makes 100 or radical 100, which so I got radical 30 over
So divide them both by
Oh yeah.
100.
multiply them both by half.
You mean divided by 2?
Radical 30 over 10.
Okay. Radical 30. Ah. Radical 30 over 10 is the final answer. But why would you divide them both by 2 there?
No, the like you have
Oh, the
radical
first
6
one?
over-
So, radical 3 over radical 10, and then you multiply by radical 10 over radical 10, and you get radical 30 over 10 that way as well. That is the shortest way. I like that way. That was good.
How'd you get 30 over radical 30 over 10?
Okay. What's radical 6 times radical 5? What's radical 20 times radical 5?
Or 10.
Radical 100 comes 10.
Kevin, I'm sleeping.
Where are you going?
Oh, so you just take the square root.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch this, because this next part is hard. We're
Dang
doing
it.
the conjugate
Or
yet.
you just take the square root.
God, Kevin.
Yeah.
Mr. Mancini,
Hey, wait.
will we ever
So
have to
technically
find
Kevin's gonna be
the
listening.
original
Kevin.
answer?
Whoa.
I don't know what that
Whoa.
means, Nico. That's one of the weird, you said some weird things in our 2 years together. That's one right up there with it.
What do you say?
Will we have to find the original answer?
Find the original answer. I don't even know what that. Those
You
words
just
aren't even
circle
good
Oh
together.
no, that makes sense.
If you
Will
give us
you
the
give us
answer
like
and we have to
radical
find
30
out.
over 10? We have to find.
The problem?
Yeah.
No.
It's stupid because there's a million of them.
No, I mean, I know it's good. We are going to solve these eventually, and that would be a little bit, but no, I would you'd never get the answer and have to come up with it. All right, next, let's talk about conjugates.
I have to talk about that.
Conjugates, everybody put 2 little fingers up in the air.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Conjugates.
Say hi, Kevin.
Kevin, you want your test?
Say hi, Kevin, yourself.
Yeah, one.
Hey, conjugates are binomials.
Bye.
Okay? You guys like binomials? How many pieces do binomial have?
Yes.
2. Okay? We're going to do FOIL here. Binomials that have radicals in them. Like, I'm not going to read all that stuff to you because you'll just get more confused.
Tell us what to fill the blanks.
Okay? Binomials with radicals in them are where A, B, C, and D are rational numbers are called conjugates. And I'm gonna once you see an example of a conjugate, you'll get it. Okay? Albano, give me your favorite number between 1 and 10. 5.
You know this one.
Plus. Meredith, give me your favorite square root number in between 1 and 10. That's a perfect square. I want one that's not can't simplify. 3. Everybody write down 5 plus radical 3. Does everybody agree that's a binomial?
Radical 8.
You can't add them. They're not like terms.
Oh, you're gonna get mad.
No.
Just kidding.
So you can't add. You cannot add those 2 things together. That's a 5 and radical 3. They're not like. You can't add them together. Put a comma. Don't put an equal sign. The conjugate of 5 plus radical 3 is 5 minus radical 3.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. What does it kind of look like the kids think it is? Instead of the word conjugate, what's another word?
The opposite.
Right, kids think it's the opposite, but it's not quite. It's real close. Only the second piece is the opposite. The first piece stays the same.
5 minus
So it's not the opposite. Good catch, Nico. Somebody make up a binomial off the top of their head with radicals in it.
What?
8 plus radical 5.
Can I want to put a number in front of your radical 5.
3.
3 radical 5. Everybody jot that down.
So 11.
8 plus 3 radical 5. You can't add them together.
Can't add 8 plus 3.
Well, you could add 8 plus 3, but you can't add 8 plus 3 radical 5.
So would it be 11 radical 5?
No, you can't add them together. What am I not getting through? You
Can't
can.
add 8 plus 3.
You can add 8 plus 3, but
Yeah.
that's 8 plus 3 radical 5. That's not 8 plus 3.
It's not.
It's 8 plus 3 radical 5. You gotta
Yeah.
finish the problem, Alex.
So like,
So you can't add them together.
so 8 plus 3.
The email didn't make any difference, huh?
I don't know. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to me, but
Oh my God, what am I not getting through to?
well, it's 8 plus 3.
No, it's not!
Let's forget about the radical 5.
Dude, 4 plus 3x. Can you add those two things together? We're going to 7x. Dude, you're in Algebra 2 next year.
Wait, would it be 7
Oh my
plus
God.
x? I'm kidding.
You're not. So it's kind of like the like terms concept, Al. You can't add them together. Then. Because that radical 5 after the 3,
Oh, okay.
now that you're all really confused and not paying attention whatsoever, what's the conjugate of 8 plus 3 radical 5?
8 minus
8 minus 3 radical 5. Just write it underneath it. Okay? All right, one more. You can put the radical at the beginning. How about this? 3 radical 2 minus 5 radical 7. Everybody jot that down. 3 radical 2 minus 5 radical 7. Guess what the conjugate of that one is?
3 radical 2 plus.
5 radical 7. All you do is change the middle sign. That's minus, becomes plus.
That's so hard.
Good. No, now we're going to do something with it, though. Here's the deal. What?
What if it was like 8 plus 3 minus 4?
No, 2 binomials.
Oh, just
Binomials.
Trinomials.
There's no conjugate. Good point, Sean. I didn't even think about that. There is no conjugate of a trinomial. It's just binomials, which means it has to have 2 pieces.
There's a.
Does that make sense?
Isn't there?
All right. Now, here's the deal. The product of 2 conjugates is a rational number. Underline that. The product of 2 conjugates is a rational number. If somebody can explain that to everybody else, I'd be highly impressed. Because believe it or not, guys, these are all irrational numbers. Because we got radicals in there. We don't like radicals, we're irrational. But if we multiply conjugates together, guess what you always get?
A rational number.
A rational number. Shazam. And, $10,000 question of the day. How do you multiply binomials together?
Graphic.
Very carefully. No.
Very careful.
Find
You
just
do
multiply them.
By multiplication. Everybody jot that first one down.
Oh, foil.
Foil.
That's
Cubon
what
gets
Sophia
an
said.
A for the day.
No, Sophia said it first.
Okay.
I just
Oh,
didn't
Briggs
wanna
already said it?
copy
Good.
Wait,
So I
no,
want-
Briggs-
Hey.
Sophia said it.
Well, Sophia said it. Good.
Briggs didn't say it.
Yeah, Sophia's kind of quiet. I've never heard what she said.
I know, I always repeat it and then she.
All right, everybody write down 5 plus radical 3 times 5 minus radical 3. And then everybody do FOIL on that. Go. And guys, you can multiplication, like term, you can multiply anything together.
That
Multiply
makes
anything
no
together.
sense. Oh my God.
How do you
I'll do it.
Yeah, no, it's
How do we FOIL? What's the F stand for, Nico?
first?
First, multiply your first pieces together.
Yeah.
Do it.
25.
25. Excellent. What's the O stand for?
Outside.
Outside. Everybody multiply the outside stuff here. Nico, multiply the outside stuff together.
5 radical 3.
Get your very smart. Put your sign in front of it.
Minus.
Why is it minus?
Because there's a minus sign.
Minus 5 radical 3. Inside. Nico.
Oh, I
Oh, I got it.
yeah, I did
Plus
so
5
wrong.
radical.
Genius. Last.
You just put it first though, right?
Minus radical 9.
Genius. And if you were so smart that you could see that that's a rational number, you were way ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's rational numbers.
I just made more radicals. How could it be a rational number if I just made more radicals?
It is.
Watch what happens.
Because a radical times a radical. Hey, come. Oh, that's actually good.
Hi, Devin. Guess what negative 5 radical 3 plus 5 radical 3
Zero.
is? Do not use your calculator.
No, I'm not.
They're the same thing. One of them's minus, one's positive. What's the square root of 9?
What about negative? What's the square root of negative? Would it be negative 22 though?
25 minus 3.
No, but you said negative radical 9.
Minus radical 9.
Okay, what's 9?
Minus, it's 25 minus 5 radical 3 plus 5 radical 3, which will always vanish. That's why this becomes a rational number, minus the square root of 9. What's the square root of 9?
3, but that is.
Minus
it's
3.
not radical 9 anymore.
And then you can add.
And then
Oh, yeah, okay.
25 minus 3 is 22. So when when you multiply a binomial by its conjugate, what will always happen?
You get a rational number.
You get a rational number. It works every single time.
So you always get a even number too, or like not even, but like
An integer?
yeah, an integer, not like
That's
a
what it
fraction.
means. That's what and it won't be a fraction, right? It'll be an integer. Could be negative, could be positive.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay? So that's how you rationalize denominators. Go ahead, Briggs, I'm listening.
I mean, it's better
What's the
than,
definition of rational?
Rational
better
number?
than getting like
A number that can be written in the form of a over b, where a and b are integers.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
whatever you just said. All right, we're gonna rationalize denominators by multiplying by the conjugate, because the conjugate will always make a rational number, so we won't have any square roots or radicals in the bottom part of the fraction.
Oh, do you have to multiply everything by a radical 2?
No.
But could
2 plus radical.
could you do it like the other way?
Well, we have a look what we have in the bottom. We have a 2 plus radical 2 in the bottom. The only way to make that become a rational number is to multiply by its conjugate. What is the conjugate of 2 plus radical 2?
2 minus radical 2.
So everybody, 2 minus radical 2. And then, smartest thing you can do, people, trust me on this, put parentheses around all your binomials. You will see things better that way. Put parentheses around all your binomials. Okay? Now, the top, because it's just a one piece of 3, a monomial, your times a binomial, you're going to just distribute. I'll tell you that the top will be 6 minus 3 radical 2.
Wait, when you're doing FOIL, like on the first side, would you just, like when you go said 5 radical 3, it's you're just switching it around, like it's like in the middle was radical 3 and then 5, you just switch it
5.
around,
It's negative.
like the inside.
In one's positive. Oh, but I put always put your number first. All right, let's do the bottom now. This is the hard part. First, Quinn must multiply the first pieces of your binomials together. 4. Excellent. Outside.
Minus 2 radical 2
Genius. Inside.
plus 2 radical 2.
How people realize your middle two terms are always going to be the opposite of each other, and they can't. That's why this happens. Plus 2 radical 2. Last.
Radical 4.
Well, get your sign careful.
Minus radical.
Minus radical 4, which will become a 2 in a minute. Guys, the middle two pieces will always vanish. It's kind of like the difference of 2 squares.
Not at all.
Okay? No, if you know that what you're doing is going to eliminate the middle two pieces, you don't have to write that middle two pieces down. So I got 6 minus 3 radical 2 over 4 minus 2. OMG, where did minus 2 come from?
Square root of 4.
Square root of 4, right. Final answer, 6 minus 3 radical 2 all over 2.
That's the final.
Can't you
Box it?
simplify?
Yeah,
That's my question. Can I simplify the 2 and the 6?
Why not?
Because the 2 would have to go into the other piece of the top as well. So if that 3 were a 4, then you could do it.
Oh, I thought
If
you
that 3 were an even number, yes, then you could do it. But because 3's odd, okay, you don't want to simplify that anymore. But sometimes you would be able to.
No, but I said they all worked out the integers.
Just the bottom. That's all we're doing is rationalizing our denominator. Good point, Olson. Briggs, question.
How do you set up the FOIL?
It was just like they're
Foil,
Yeah, like how do you set
what you're
it
doing, you multiply your first pieces together, multiply your outside pieces together, multiply your inside
up?
pieces
No, I
together.
know, like, how
relaxed.
did you, like, how did you get 4 minus 2
Okay.
radical?
Multiply first.
Oh, 4
Outside.
yeah, you just set it up good.
minus 2 radical
Inside.
plus 2
Last.
minus radical. Oh, okay.
First outside, inside last. Another reason, guys, why we do FOIL. All right, let's do the next one. Now we've got a radical at the top as well. That's okay. We don't really care about radicals at the top. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by Sean, what's the conjugate of radical 2 minus 3?
Radical 2 plus 3.
Genius. Okay, parentheses. Parentheses. You will see them better with parentheses. Okay. Henry, distribute across the top, please.
Radical 4 minus 3 radical 2 plus 3 radical
Wait, there's a 5 in front of all that stuff, dude. Get a clue.
I was looking at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Let's do the top first. Distribute the top.
5 radical 4 plus 5 radical 6
That's not a radical.
plus 3.
5 radical 2 times 3.
5 radical 6.
If the 3 were a radical, you'd be right.
It'd be 15 radical 2.
Right, now you're thinking. 15 radical 2. Does everybody agree that that's the top? Right?
Yeah.
Now, Henry, do FOIL on the bottom.
Radical 4 minus 3 radical 2 plus 3 radical 2.
Last. You're doing great, dude.
Minus 9.
Minus 9. Notice there's no radical there. Because it was just minus 3 times positive 3. Which two pieces vanish, Henry?
Little ones.
Middle 2. What's the square root of 4?
2.
What do you do with the 2 and the 5?
Multiply.
Right. 10 plus 15 radical 2. You cannot simplify radical 2 over 2 minus 9. Where'd the 2 come from? Square root of 4. Okay? Which, how much is 2 minus 9, guys? 10 plus 15 radical 2 all over negative 7.
I think 10 plus 15 radical 2.
Excellent question. 5 radical 4. You with me?
Yeah.
Can you simplify that?
Yeah.
What's the square root of 4?
2.
Times 5. That's where the 10 came from. Can you simplify 15 radical 2?
No.
Why not?
Because 2 is not a perfect square.
Good answer.
Wait, how'd you get 5 radical 4 plus 15 all radical
Oh my god. I just explained that.
2? I know, I didn't get it.
Okay. Can you simplify? Oh, where it came from?
Yeah.
I distributed 5 radical 2 to my radical 2 plus 3. Distributed. What's 5 radical 2 times radical 2?
10 radical.
No. Remember, you can only multiply your numbers together and your radicals together, Al. There's like a little 1 in front of there if you don't see what. So it'd be 5 radical 4 plus the 3 is a whole number times 15 radical 2. You gotta be real careful with that stuff. You can do this stuff. You guys can do this. Brilliant question.
At first I got 5 radical 4 plus 6 because I didn't see the radical 2.
And what's your point?
Now I know.
Good. All right, what's the conjugate of radical 7 plus radical 3? Radical 7 minus radical 3. Radical 7. Oh, God, I need more space. Radical 7 minus radical 3. Go, everybody try it. Don't forget your little parentheses. I think that helps kids a lot. All right, Albano, distribute the 5 across the top, please.
5 radical 7 minus 5 radical.
Genius. Foil the bottom.
Radical 49 minus 7 radical 3.
And they're both radicals. So
Radical 21
nice. How many people got minus radical 21 in the second piece? Keep going. You're doing awesome.
plus radical 21 minus radical 9.
Awesome. How many people got that? Hey, the kids always have this question. What happens when you do this and you don't get the same thing in the middle that cancel out?
You did it wrong.
You did it wrong. It will happen every time. Boom. Square root of 49, Sophia.
7,
Square root of 9.
3.
Bottom's going to be at 4. 7 minus 3. Cannot simplify the top at all. 5 radical 7 minus 5 radical 3, because over 4. Okay, kids want to subtract these two pieces at the top. Okay, they're not like radicals. We're going to do that adding, subtracting radicals tomorrow.
Oh, no, isn't it 49 minus?
Radical 49.
No. Isn't there two negative signs in front of the radical 9 and then
No.
So it's just.
Oh, this negative sign out goes with that thing. Not there, yeah. And that's how they cancel. It's negative radical 21 plus radical 21. That makes 0 with the negative sign in front of it. All right, last one, guys. Try it. See if you can get it. Everybody think they got it? Let's hear it, Sean.
Alright, so I got 8 radical 14 plus 16 radical 2 over 5.
Very close. I don't know where your radical 2 came from.
I got a radical 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got 2.
Did you get 8 radical 4 at the top?
And then would be 2 times 2.
But
So you take a 2 up.
you take a 2, but there's no 2 that's left. Because what's the square root of 4? It's a perfect square, so there's nothing left. So it's plus 16. So I got 8 radical 14 plus 16 all over 5.
Why'd you get 16? Isn't it 8 radical 4?
Yeah.
What's the square root of 4?
2.
2 times 8.
Why don't you do that to, only with the square root?
Only the first square.
You have to do that?
No, you can just leave it unsimplified if you want. I'm lying to you.
I understand.
You have to simplify them. Signing off, guys.
Well,
See ya.
Nick,
Bye.